You're listening to the Classic Gamers Guild podcast.
Welcome to the Classic Gamers Guild podcast. I'm your host, Anna. I'm here with my co-host, Paul. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about the 1996 point-and-click adventure game called Toonstruck that maybe a few of you have heard of and might even be surprised that we're talking about because it's not a Sierra game. I don't know. And so join us as we take a journey through Toonstruck. We're going to talk about the game's unique style, some of its puzzles, and the characters that make it so memorable and why they're so memorable to us in particular. So let's dive on into the wacky and zany world of Toonstruck. And
yes,
yeah.
Anna, I am edging to talk about this. I'm just so excited.
We haven't allowed each other to talk about it at all, so we don't even know if either of us likes the damn game. No clue. It's going to be lots of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I do.
Sorry, got so excited I dropped you there. Okay.
No, it's good to be back. So I played this game yesterday and this morning. I finished it just hours ago. Whereas you played it as a kid and also just a couple more even hours ago.
Yeah.
And we got stuff to say about it. I don't know where to start.
No. Well, I think we should start with the fact that I am shocked more people don't know about this game. And this is a game being in 1996, in my opinion. And by the way, this episode might get spoiler heavy. But anyways, in my opinion, I think that the people who made this game thought it was going to be the next big step in entertainment. So it's got like a massive voice cast. The whole game is kind of like playing a cartoon, right? You've got your Christopher Lloyd, in case you don't already know, obviously Back to the Future and stuff. Tim Curry, who's like the bad guy, which is super sensible, right? Because he always plays a good bad guy. And you've got Dan Castellaneta, who's Homer Simpson. Like, what? He's in here? Oh yeah, he's totally in there. Dom DeLuise is totally in there. And Jim Cummings, who is like Winnie the Pooh, is in there. And he played a couple of characters too, B.B. Wolf and Snout the Pig and all that, the robot henchman. So all over almost every voice that you hear in this game, Trey McNeil, she's Babs Bunny. Anyways, almost every voice you hear in this game is somebody you already know. So even if you're just like clicking through to follow a walkthrough, you're just like, oh my God, it's the missing episode of like Tiny Toons or something that I never played that is like 4 hours long.
Yeah, it's really weird in the sense that every time you hear a voice, you're like, oh, that sounds just like whatever. And it is. It's like you said with Winnie the Pooh. It's like you told me that just before we started recording. I'm like, that was Winnie the Pooh, right? Because there is like one or two mild impersonations. There's like there's a kind of Christopher Walken, the malevolent robot that wants to take over the world. He does, which, oh my God, how brilliant is it to equate Christopher Walken into a robot voice? Because like the rhythm of his voice, of his timing is already like just really wants to be robotic. And I just thought that was so brilliant of them. Like I know that was like a made decision. It was just so well done. But anyway, and then there's like one other time there's like that Jack Nicholson kind of vibe, and so like those are the only two times it's not the actor that you think it is. Because otherwise it's just like, just these huge roles. And it's therefore definitely like the best voice acting I've ever heard. Obviously in a game that's a note I have. I was going to say it anyway. But it's insane. How could it not be? Yeah.
They put a lot of time, effort, thought, $8 million budget. And then they're just like, wow, I bet enough people are playing adventure games that it can facilitate this doing it more than once, because they actually filmed almost twice as much footage as what's actually in the game. And if you go onto Steam, if you're deciding to play it and you hit play on the little demo video, it's about 1:30. But anyways, there's videos of Vincent van Gogh and he's painting like all these ears in it, and none of that's made it into this game, and a bunch of other scenes never made it into this game. So they took all of that information, put it in a pile, and they're like, well, we're going to make this into the second game, but instead it all got packed up.
So heartbreaking.
Yeah, it really is, because they already filmed it, right? So even though it hasn't all necessarily been cohesively put together, the generality of the puzzles and what was going to happen in the framework, the structure was already there. The hard parts.
Right. I mean, now there's so many people of there's so many people that already have lawyers in on this project that you'd never be able to get all these like everything to work out rights wise, right? To do anything with it, but
because who
that
else?
might even be for the.
Go ahead.
What were you gonna say? Who else was? Because I had nothing
Who
just
else?
then.
Virgin Interactive. What other games have we played? Was that Beavis and Butthead? What are some other games that Virgin Interactive even did? Because it's not like that's not really, I think, a game title that we've talked about.
No, and I'm definitely not Googling it right now. If my
No.
keywords stop rattling, fucking sell out. Jesus Christ.
There must Spot, the 7-Up game. Okay, I totally played that game. I did.
Okay, that's you.
No,
My
for
page
real.
is also loading slowly. The Seventh Guest, Bloody
Golden
KGB.
Axe. Oh, I totally played Golden Axe, the Seventh Guest.
Wait, didn't they do Blade Runner? Yeah, they did, because I'm reading it off the
Earthworm
screen.
Jim. Jesus. No, they did a lot of different. Okay, fair enough. It's just not really games we've talked about.
Kyrandia?
Kyrandia. Some of the broken sword games, Command and Conquer.
Game gives me a stroke when I try to say it.
All
right, but let's stop yelling names at them. I think we're freaking some of them out.
Oh shit! Come back! No, I swear it'll get better.
Sorry about that. We got lost in what the point was there, but we're good. We're back. I'm looking at a guy who has the clown tattooed on his arm. Let's just say, or take a step back. If you haven't played Toonstruck, the story of the game is, immediately picture like a Roger Rabbit thing, right? Human male protagonist around the same age is in a cartoon world. And we've never, we're not the type of show that really tells you what happens in the thing. And should we be? Like, the story's kind of ridiculous.
The story is, it's you know what it is? It's evolving, Paul. And that's what made me kind of laugh and kind of feel delighted as I was playing it, because it didn't remain static. The scenery was evolving, the storyline was evolving, the cutscenes made it evolve, and yet they didn't puzzle me the same way a typical LucasArts game did. I felt that it had some really unique qualities, this game, actually, compared to our standard fare.
Yeah, this game had some amazing puzzles. I was waiting for them to slip and be adventure gamey, and they did. They did, but it's okay. It's okay. I think I almost boiled it down to, I'm starting to think that like around this time, maybe adventure game devs were looking at the end of the game as like they needed to make it feel like a boss level was building, or like it has to get harder for some reason. It's like, dude, this is really grindy. Please stop.
It did get harder. Actually, the progression of this game, it got significantly harder as time went on, like messing with temperature controls and stuff. It was just like, it's a little complex. And then timing puzzles and stuff.
And it's I know I just led you into a hard right kind of negatively. Everybody stick with us, please. I was taking notes on the puzzles because they were so good, and I was just like, this is the kind of puzzle. It was okay. It was inspiring. These are the kind of puzzles that I would want to do in Phantom Fellows, going forward. And obviously not clones of the puzzles, but this like the spirit of the thinking, I guess you could say. And a good example, since I wrote them down, actually I have like too many notes. Where's the bloody okay, so at one point you use a gauntlet on a pool cue to press a button that's really far away in a jail cell. And like, I don't know, I don't know if that sounds too easy saying it out loud. I promise it's not as maybe obvious as it seems in the moment, but it's that right amount of like, yay, I did it. Like it wasn't too easy. It wasn't too hard, right? That little pocket. And yeah, I don't know. Did any pop out to you?
The squirrel was the trickiest. That's what I said to Paul, hey, it's okay. I'm busy right now. I just finished combining 6 different inventory items to complete a puzzle. What I was referring to was catching that squirrel, which is like a little bit of inventory mashing. At this point, it's just like, well, what goes with what? Because I know I got to catch this bloody thing, because I know I need the nuts, obviously, is part of a puzzle. So, and it was cool. It was inventive. It made sense, the puzzle. It was definitely a later game puzzle. It had been sitting there staring at you since the beginning of the game, but it wasn't till things started going all twixy that you could, get to the point where you could progress in it. So it was like a long-term thinking puzzle, but it gave you the enjoyment of the little animation. If you send Flux up too early before you can solve the puzzle, he gets like beat up by the squirrel. So it's kind of like, well, you can't do it right now. You can't do it till way late in the game. But even though you got to look at it, you can kind of think about it, and we'll give you something fun in the meantime. Right.
That's awesome. That's funny because as you're describing, I think more or less as I wrote it down, I
Mhm.
put squirrel puzzle was dodgy AF.
Yes.
Because it's real dodgy, but ultimately I liked it because, and you actually hit the nail on the head. They give you a long time with it because well, actually that's not necessarily true. In my case, I had a long time to sit with it because I got the book that showed me the female squirrel thing quite a lot earlier.
Mhm.
So I like, that had kind of been
I
running
didn't
through my
trade
head when
mine till later.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, but you still thought of it positively because that was a
Mhm.
plus for me because I was able to sit on it for a while. But I put dodgy because it's like it's right on the line, but I think ultimately it's good because it's yeah. I don't know. It might be argued that it's either one step below or above the line. Let's say as
Mhm.
far as like adventure game like Moon Logic or whatever. But I felt like it did work, and it was like we do know that we need to get the squirrel away, and
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know.
There was that
That one,
one
yeah,
Moon
it's dodgy.
Logic. There was the Moon Logic was the, again, spoiler, to grab the stars over the guy's head after he gets his brains all boxed out, to use it for one of the puzzles. That was a little like, it reminded me of Les Manley grabbing the dream out of somebody's thought bubble kind of deal.
I got some other dodgy puzzles. Look, we just done an edit back there. I don't know if you guys could tell, but I'm not fucking stopping again. It keeps sounding like a really hard cut, so that's that. But everything's fine. Raisins were consumed and mistakes were corrected. So I guess since we're talking about like the difficult puzzles, because most of my notes are actually largely just positive and fun stuff, but I will bitch about some of the puzzles real quick because it did strike a note where I think they were trying to make it more difficult, right? Because it's like it gets harder and harder and harder, and then you get in the castle, and it's like they overstayed.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Like,
inventory items to manage at this point, and I feel I always like I get a little overwhelmed at this stage in a game often when this happens.
it happens a lot in adventure games.
Yeah, it does, and I get overwhelmed easily in adventure games, it would appear.
Yeah. I almost took time to note to myself how serendipitous the timing potentially was, as I'm just about to embark on doing the finale for Phantom Fellows. So I'm like, remember this, man. Adventure games tend to lose their fucking minds at the end, or get really hard. Like they either do something that just loses the story, like long-time listeners in the show know we have a complicated past with Kathy Rain, but we ultimately like it and respect the crap out of it, and honestly, it's kind of like the ideal I'm chasing. Like if I could get near how well that did, then that's my measurement, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But for example's sake, it kind of lost its mind at the end. Like adventure games tend to just kind of do this, and it's just like get out, because I closed the game out last night when I had just got to the castle. And all they had to do was give me like one or two more puzzles and like a nice cutscene, and like I would have been happy, man. Like I felt like the castle was like largely unnecessary. And I don't know. I don't know if it was something in my head, but like the sunglasses thing, for example.
Oh my god, that is the most memorable puzzle in the game, apparently, because oh my god,
doing this
because you're just like, there's like 5 inventory items I haven't used yet. How can we use them right now in this room? And then you do. Fuck.
See, for me, I'm just like, they should have done that shit like in the beginning of the game. I'm like, I'm running out of like emotional energy for your bullshit right now with these sunglasses. I don't even know why I want them, and I think that got in my head too, and it was bothering me because I'm like, well, why do we want the sunglasses? Like, please at least tell me. Oh my god! And they're just going all around the room, and it was just my notes are just like sunglasses, puzzle bad, gauntlet, and Q good. So I might have been a little emotionally fatigued having kind of grinding it out, but yeah, I did. It does feel good having bitched about that. But and the other thing I wrote, because again, I don't think I have much else negative beyond this, is that the writing in general, I feel like it kind of falls off in the last not even last act, like the last quarter. Like okay, I wrote. They kept doing this bit towards the end of the game, and it was like this kind of bit where Christopher Lloyd would do something, and he'd be like, "The old ridiculous thing that shouldn't work works every time, eh?" Like it was like that kind of joke where like it works every time, but it's like a thing that shouldn't work every time, right?
Yeah.
And dude, they did that joke like 4 or 5 times at the end of the game, like for individual like puzzles. Like it wasn't the same line. In other words, like it wasn't the same audio clip. Like they wrote that line for like they just kept writing it. I'm like, please stop doing this bit, guys. Like I feel like everyone's fatigued. Let's get out.
Yeah, I definitely. Well, I mentioned it briefly too, being that I felt the ending was rushed. They had a few inconsistencies with the interactions of the game, like whether or not you were able to skip dialogue, or at a few points even access the menu. I wouldn't be able to until the next scene, and it just felt kind of rushed. And then randomly you could skip some stuff, and then I was like, well, why do I feel like I should be skipping stuff? But maybe I was feeling a little long in the tooth by now, being that, it's very easily a 5-hour game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think because I checked out the how long to beat on it like a while ago, and I think it was like 7. And I would say, yeah, 5 was a walkthrough. So probably for me, 12 without one.
Yeah.
Like for a really long time without one, for sure. Because
Easy.
I mean, again, maybe not till the castle, because it's. I don't know, I guess we could shift to positive stuff, because there's some awesome puzzles, and like the whole part of the game getting to there is really fun and really rewarding, and the whole. So this is something a listener who hasn't played the game would need to know, is that the overarching goal for you in the beginning of the game, or the first 3/4, or at least half, is to collect the missing pieces for this cutifier machine that makes things just adorable, and to counter, a malevolent or something that makes things terrible. Please don't yell at me. I forgot it, even though I played it today. The malevolent doesn't matter.
It's okay.
So
go ahead.
Thank you. I'm off the hook. You guys heard it. So you got to collect these things, and actually the picture's right here. And it's really clever in the sense that, so you know that you have to find the opposite of what the Malevolator has. Now that I have a picture. And the Malevolator has spice, has danger, so they're objects, right? Spice, danger, stripes, heart, whistle. I'll stop there, because the point is that for a whistle you would need a bell. For a stripe you might need a star, etc. But in the way that they do it, and they teach you it kind of quickly, is that you're not going to look for the conventional star or the conventional bell. And it's just really fun and super adventure gamey. Like that's in the spirit of adventure games, is to need an arrow for a bow and arrow, and it turns out to be a directional signs arrow. It's like, that's adorable. I really found that charming the whole way through.
It was cute, and it was also, it wasn't the only time you would use the item. Like, you might have used the item you're going to put into the Malevolator for a different puzzle first, and then you're like, okay, now that I've used it all the times I can use it on all the different puzzles, we're going to put it in the machine now. So it was kind of neat.
Yes, it was. And the machine would tell you, how many were collected and then how many were correct. Right. So it was like, it gave you the chance to fail and to take things back. That was also noted on mine. It was really cool. I like that you can undo things. Even in speaking of the sunglasses puzzle, like a counter positive was like, I moved the chair just back to the desk by accident. We push a chair around. And like, he let me do it, even though I in hindsight, I didn't need the ability to move it back. I don't think there would have been a way to, block myself, but it doesn't matter. It was really nice in that sense. Yeah, really like kind of free flowing, and yeah, it was really fun. All the characters were awesome. The overarching story is kind of silly because it's cartoony, and that's so that gets past, like, but it was pretty complex too. I mean, it wasn't like thin.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a little dated. Things like that always were, but the characters were they were all out funny. Like the clown, what the hell was up with that? Like, you don't even know. Like, why is this character like this? Why does he even exist? Why is he like he is? Why does he talk like that? And what was the point of this scene altogether, other than somebody clearly wanted this clown in the game?
Yeah, no, well, okay, man, there's a lot about this clown. I'll just start with more hidden gem, is not hidden gem at all, but the lesser obvious is I just adore the fact that they give you an option to have Christopher Lloyd just shout insane things at this clown.
And I did it over and over and over and over because I want to see what all of the crazy things he's going to say is. That was beautiful.
That was so, again, the spirit of adventure games. That is adventure games at their best, man. Just for no reason, and everyone involved knows it's Christopher Lloyd, and he's, that's him shouting insane things is he's stock whatever. So
there is footage on YouTube of him doing some of the lines from the game in the studio from later on I won't say what happens, but at the end, and it was pretty neat because he had like his full beard on while he was doing it and stuff.
Oh, cool! Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, and that's the line we won't say at the very end. Okay.
Well, I don't know. We've never had a line before, but it's just, my God, the twists in this game that I do want to talk about at some point were just so much fun. And I didn't see them coming.
And punch people. Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so we never really, we always just do full spoilers, right? Because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's nothing wildly unpredictable anyway.
No, and if you don't want spoilers, go watch Pushing Up Rose's video or one of the other ones too, and then go give it a play, because they're not as heavy on the spoilers, but yeah.
Yeah, like we're under the assumption that you guys only kind of sort of care, and you'll forget, and by the time you play it, if you ever do, you'll have forgotten this conversation, and everybody's fine.
Yeah, I feel we're pretty forgetful.
Cares.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
You
the clown.
Yeah.
So I'll say on the clown. Okay, the sales of this game. I got into a conversation with a robot about this, but it doesn't matter. What baffles me, because this game, as I think you had said on air earlier, that it cost $8 million to make, and it wasn't supposed to, right? And if you didn't say it earlier, she taught me that, everyone. Robot confirmed it, and he's a pretty smart robot. So like the game cost $8 million, and from what I gather, it sold about 200,000 copies worldwide at between $50 and $60 US. And I'd done the math, I think, earlier, which came up to like 11 million or whatever, but that's not sales, right? That's not profit. Sorry, that is sales. It's not profit. So the profit, is most likely a loss or not. I have no fucking idea, but I know that if it costs 8 million and they only made 11, it's not a great day.
Yeah.
Because it's not making 11. It doesn't matter.
It definitely didn't sell as well as the developers had hoped it was going to sell, even if it got a respectable amount. But a respectable amount is not what you call in that voice acting crew for.
Right. I wish that was all I said, was the part you done there. So thank you. And so anyway, I'm looking at the Google's image results for this game, and I see the box actually that I have somewhere of the clown version, the European release, and I'm just like, what the fuck were you thinking?
Yeah, that's not.
Who dropped this ball, man? Why the fuck would you do that? Like, not only is the star, like, who I'm sure was a lot of the 8 million or whatever, I mean, not, a lot of the budget. Like, why are you not using Christopher Lloyd? And then, like, the thing that you're using in place of him is just, what are you doing? It doesn't. Yeah.
Well, even the other traditional, like, I'm looking at my regular North American version, and you've got Christopher Lloyd sitting in an electric chair being electrocuted by, like, the crazy clown in the room. And so, I mean, it's kind of scary. And it's scary, and it's beautiful, and it encompasses the idea of the game. And I think it's a really pretty cover. So I think I prefer this one.
Oh, God, yeah. Not only do I prefer that one, but I would blame the other one for its fucking failure. Yeah. This is horrendous. It's like, okay, what baffles me, too, is that it's not even the clown as he's in the game. It's a weird, like, 3D rendered version of him. If anybody out there's seen that Rick and Morty, it's just Morty, and, like, you can grab with your mouse, you can, like, pull his face and stretch it and let it go.
What's on the back?
If you know what I'm talking about, the art looks like that, where he's poking this thing in the eye. Yeah. It doesn't matter. But the point is like, you take this clown who's barely in the game, and you, like, for real, he's barely in the game.
Yeah, one scene.
And you put him on the cover in this weird, like, rubbery 3D balloon-looking texture that's not used in the game at all ever once. Then go ahead and oversaturate and bleach that out to, like, a horrendous degree. And that's the cover. And it's like, I don't know who would buy that. And you had Christopher Lloyd and Winnie the Pooh. Drop the ball, man.
Didn't work.
There's no Winnie the Pooh.
What is on the back? Is there pictures on the back? On yours?
I don't know. I didn't actually get up to get mine. Yeah.
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 There's pictures.
I don't know why. It just, like,
nice
it almost like made me picture the conversation of, like, why would you mess with that though? Like, the other one's so good, and it's got this big Hollywood star that you paid a bunch of money for, and they're like, no, we're going with this weird fucking balloon clown. It doesn't look like the game at all. It's just so weird. Okay, sorry. I might have got a little sidetracked into that, but I feel better.
You make me feel better about not owning the version of the box that you have.
Yeah, no. It's like mine, I think, yeah. It smells fun.
You're not very nice in this game. I mean, to the characters. You are mean and harmful to characters that have done you no wrong at any time for any reason. The guy that owns the gym is an example of this situation. Like, there's... Other than to, like, continue your own, like, your own quests, you're brutal to like absolutely every other character, that some of which don't even survive their interactions with you or lose everything, their business. It's all very like, you are just a wave of destruction all over this place.
Oh man, yeah, that's so good. That's so good because I have that down too. Like there was a point in the game where I think he steals the stuffed cat or something, and I'm just like, all right, we're just a thief in this one. Like which is fair enough. I mean, a lot of games just do that. We're just like, the protagonist is just a straight up thief, and that's cool. Pretty sure I'm doing that, but
like the poor footman. Oh my god, like that was not nice at all.
Yeah, that was way over the line. He was just doing his job. He was nice about it.
Poor guy. I know he even put up with you and everything. Like you're just like, dude, that is not nice.
After you make the click, you're like, I didn't click for that.
Yeah.
I didn't click up for that, man. No way. Something. Yeah, he's a little harsh. And then I also had it noted too, where at the end of the game, I didn't really realize that they were all separate worlds. I don't know. Like I did, but I didn't. Because saying it out loud, it's like, yeah, I sort of did. But it wasn't till near the end, and I'll pass this off to you twist-wise. Before the first twist that I won't mention, it was only then that I realized, oh, wait, he wasn't working for the better good. He was just working for this town. Because in my head, as we're just stealing everything, I'm like, surely, which is funny, because I guess I was justifying it in my head in some sort of moral stance. I'm like, the reason as a protagonist we're stealing all this shit without any regard at all is because, we kind of have a sheriff's badge. We're doing this from the king to make everything better. And then towards the end, I learned that like it's not for like the king. It's just for like this little part of the world's king. So we go everywhere and steal shit. So that's not how that works. Like it's anyway.
I know you go to the worlds that's not even involved, that doesn't even have a problem with anything.
Right. Thank you.
And you're just like, oh man, I'm going to bust your stuff up. Like all the work to get into the bowling alley just to essentially make the owner have a mental breakdown and be like, I've lost everything, but go enjoy your trophy, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, that one was pretty sociopathic, wasn't it? That was pretty far. They broke that, man. I looked him in the eyes while they done it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you wanted to mention the twist. So if anybody wants to skip ahead, here's a twist. You won't have saw it coming.
No, it really did surprise me.
Yeah, me too.
Warning over. So yeah, it turns out that the cute little bunny that was there, that was played by Babs, who sounded like Babs Bunny, of course, was actually disguised as the king, and the real king was actually kidnapped and locked away. And now, instead of being like the game over, like you think, and you can go home, you have to like go and like cutify the world, because everything that's not cute is evil, which I thought was an adorable twist. Totally didn't see it coming.
Yeah, no, same here. It was a perfect cartoony twist, and then my brain still wasn't really wrapped around it, but it was nice how it kind of like created more depths with like the villain situation as well, to where Tim Curry wasn't the only bad guy, and it's just that was surprising.
Yeah,
and it wasn't the end too. I thought it was in a sense.
I thought so too. I was just like, I was thinking about you playing it, and I'm like, he's going to be excited that there's more because of the twist, but then he's going to be like, oh, but there's more.
There's a lot more.
Turns out. Which again, I'm just saying, goes back to the fact that I didn't even think I I thought I had finished the game, but I hadn't. So, because there's a lot of game.
Yeah. There is, but it is worth it too in the end, though. Because hindsight, I might have been a little hard on the castle, because I have good notes from it too. Like, yeah, I wonder at what point you started clicking fast, because I didn't do that. I stopped myself from doing it once or twice. I think exactly how you kind of worded it. Where it's like 1 or 2 times, I'm like, hey, easy there. Yeah. This isn't homework. Do you want to be doing this, or do you just want to stop? Like, what are we doing? And I was like, okay, I want to do this. I want to read it.
I want to hear it. Yeah, because
I almost wonder if it was around the scene. I think it was like the fly suit, maybe one of the fly suit times where I'm
climbing
just like,
up again. And
okay, yeah. One of the programmers sneaks a debugging joke in, which is cute.
There's a few little jokes.
The game is super charming.
Like flux, like flux capacitor, flux he's wildly. Awesome. I didn't make that connection. Christopher Lloyd, Back to the Future, flux.
Oh, me neither.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that was kind of neat. And it just, even his name, Drew Blank, well, he drew a blank. We didn't know what to draw. He fell asleep. It's adorable, that stuff.
True Blank, that was adorable. The whole thing. Oh, Ben Stein. We didn't mention how Ben
Oh,
Stein.
yeah.
He's
You
man.
didn't.
He does not act well in this at all.
You're
I don't
not.
know.
He's not. He never did act well. When Ben Stein's money.
That's
Well,
fair.
hello. I have money and a show.
Right.
Can
He's
you
just
answer
Ben
my
Stein. Yeah.
question? Yeah, that's what he does. That's him.
You're right. I guess I just never noticed it maybe until because he's just real bad. I'm like, whew, man, this is hard to. This is painful.
Yeah.
What? But it's still just Ben Stein, and like we know it's a ridiculous cartoon video game, so it's. I'd almost rather it be that way, right?
They're probably like, okay,
yeah.
you can come, but be you. And then Ben Stein's like, I don't know how to be anybody else. That's it.
Right. Like I don't think he must have been trying to sound that uncomfortable. That's how weird it was when he was saying the lines. It's like I think you're right. You just totally converted me. I think they just told him to be extra Ben Stein for a joke.
Exactly.
Because the game is wickedly clever. There's jokes in this game. This is why I said that the writing falls off in the last half is because it definitely does fall off. Because I literally have like just nothing but positive notes here because I kind of want to close the show and just like sharing some of our favorite lines, right? That's why I keep saying that, but not. I feel like people aren't believing me at this point. They're like, where's all those positive notes you keep talking about? Because it's just funny things from the game I want to cover. But there were so many of them, and then it really. I guess in the game's defense, it kind of gets down to business in the castle, right? You could argue it that way. But I don't know. It was wildly funny for a long time.
Yeah, there was quite a few jokes where you get through it and it just is actually really for real funny. Like not just, oh, I'm kind of humoring this game, because there is a lot of like slapstick humor in it, but like actually, oh wow, this is actually pretty funny. Like when you get to the point when you find out what happens to poor Elmer. The horse. Yeah. It's just things like that too. So funny.
Yeah, they did such an awesome job. Ow. Sorry. I'm good. We're good. They did a really good job with the subtleties, I guess you could say. Like even like some background animation things that would happen. Or timing wise that would go off. There were some shocking moments too, like the alligators are fighting for the turkey and like one of them just disembowels the other one. Like straight up. It's pretty brutal. Like he just straight up rips his guts out. Like it's really bad. It was awesome. I was just like, wow, I didn't know. I think somebody's like brain splats against the wall. There's like a few really shocking moments. And
well, it was go ahead.
Were you telling me that it was originally going to be for kids?
Yeah.
And then
Trouble in Toonland, dude.
Interesting.
Yeah, some little boy, and he got sucked into a cartoon world, and he was going to defeat. I think there was this other character. His name was supposed to be like Ghastly Graham or something, but he was a ghost, and he was draining the whole world of color. And then they just entirely rewrote it and put in more mature content, and adulted it up a lot. But no, it actually 150,000 copies is what this game sold, and that's in an entertainment industry, that's not what they're looking for. You know that.
Yeah, that's great. That's really a shame because it's really good, and that's why I got so mad and yelled at everyone about the clown cover in Europe because it's like they really blew something there. I'm convinced because that is how things worked pre-internet, right? Is the physical packaging you see in the store. Period.
Yeah.
Like they totally dropped the ball on that. It's just the weirdest decision making I've ever seen. Considering again, it's Christopher Lloyd. Like if it wasn't a huge Hollywood star that might have cost one of the $8 million, like you put him on the cover, man. That's. They shoehorn Sutherland onto the cover of KGB or whatever. Like you do what you got to do. It's And if you don't, it better be like really clever. Sorry, I'm getting in the
that's
box
okay.
again.
Well, they
stuck
did.
In that I hate this box loop.
If you're back to Christopher Lloyd, they made some neat decisions. Like for example, you'll notice in the game he was symmetrical, right? So he could be flipped left or right at any time. So you'll notice his hair wasn't like parted differently on one side, or you'll notice his jacket didn't have any buttons, so that he could be placed. And I think it's most obvious how they've set that up when you were in the jail and you're with Mr. Snotty McSnot guard there. And you can see the whole time he's talking to the guard and he's kind of facing down and in a little bit of a weird direction. But that's just the idea of how they created the character. So he was always flippable, but he was always facing in that kind of way.
Oh, that is so cool. I had no idea. There were certain times we were playing, you can't help but like imagine what it was like in the studio for him. Like just some of the posing and the acting, and like sometimes he just completely nails it, and sometimes it's not, but it's also kind of zany that it works either way. It's almost more fun the more stupid it looks. Does that make sense? the more like overtly over the top he goes with it. He performs like really, really well in this in the cutscenes though. Like there's a clip of him. I'd mentioned you pre-show that I watched like a minute. I was going to rewatch the Pushing Up Roses video on this game, which is great. And if you guys want like a more professional version of what a review sounds like, go check that out. But in the very beginning of that, she's like setting up all the voice actors that are in it and using a quick clip for each of them. And the clip she uses for Lloyd is in this game, and it's just like so good. It's just like it captures him in a bottle, you know. And it's just like. It's like the life for Goldblum. Like she just like kind of he just kind of nails the he nails his whole. He's really peaking in this performance.
You know, I think I'm assuming it must have been a lot of work to make this game. I think out of proportion, talking to some of the people that we have that have been in some of the other larger live action style games, say Phantasmagoria and the like, I think it was just the amount of work it was to make it was well out of proportion with what people were prepared to do, unless it was about to be something freaking amazing. Like, I think when they were making this, there was some points where they're like, game is going to kill it out there. I really sincerely think they thought so.
Yeah, I'd love to hear the like development story behind it, because I would totally believe that the ending of the game killed them as well. Because if any project that ends up costing $8 million, $8,1995, you know, when they started making it, let's say, maybe $4, who cares? But yeah, it was not supposed to cost. I'm going to go ahead and assume it was not supposed to cost $8 million mid-90s. So like those kind of projects do get out of hand too, and they can totally just run away from you. Like it happens all the time, like in like, you know, movies and show businessy stuff. And I'd say that like with Phantasmagoria, like they saved it, right? Because that was only supposed to cost, as you just recently reminded me, what, like $400,000 to $800,000, and ended up costing I think $4 million. Yeah. So but that game, like it's you know, that game stayed its course, and I can see how Roberta's like stone cold professional in that sense. I could totally see that, like, you know, keeping it right on track. But this one, like I almost wonder, like somebody was maybe really insisting on an ultimate vision with this ending, and like making sure the whole thing got done. And it's like if they were to maybe listen to me bitch about the ending and be like, damn. Kind of sunk the ship with that ending, and he doesn't even like it. Like people didn't even like it because it's just like they're really committed to something. And I'm like, man, I'm not sure I'm having fun anymore, guys. They're like, listen to the clown, you know. I'm like, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to collect more crystals. Like I just collected 11 things to make a thing work, and now I got to collect more things to fit in the thing. Like that was kind of a deal breaker too. But
I think they forgot that people that are fans of movies and cartoons are not necessarily adventure gamers, and that. I mean, yes, most adventure gamers probably like cartoons, but that doesn't provide the numbers. And I think most people don't actually want to solve puzzles to get their entertainment unless it's something they already have a proclivity to do. So they're like, oh, we're going to capture the whole market. All these people that liked Roger Rabbit and all these other things Christopher Lloyd's done and Back to the Future, they're all going to want to play this game, and they go to see the game and they're like, wow, that's cool. If I can have a computer that runs it, for one, and then for two, oh my God, I don't know how to progress in this game because it's actually hard. I know how to watch cartoons and watch movies. So a lot of your audience just instantly dissolved right off the bat.
Right. Yeah, it's a good point. And they were like against the clock, I guess, time-wise, because adventure games were not doing. I don't know. This was 96, right? Okay, so this is just one of the games that people would say killed it, right? This is like, in a sense, right? Because, well, one, because I saw that really quickly at a glance while Googling the game, just a headline I didn't click on. It was like Death of Adventure Games Case 3, you know, Toonstruck. And I was like, well, it cost $8 million, fair enough. I mean, because really when a genre dies on like a business side, it's usually more shit like this, where it's like, you know, what kind of game cost $8 million and lost it? Oh, an adventure game. Oh, interesting. Which one just made, you know, just too many millions of dollars? Oh, the first person shooter. Okay. What year is this? 1996. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Looks like it would be 2-3 years before it kind of flatlined out for a while. So,
Well, yeah, it's going to it's one of those ones that are unfortunately blazing the death trail instead of being the beginning of what was epically the next generation of entertainment experiences. It could have gone either way, I guess,
Right.
but maybe it couldn't have because, again, like, how many adventure gamers did you know growing up, Paul? Because, I mean, outside of your own family, at least for me,
Right.
outside of my own family, and even now as a grown-up, I had to go in all the way to another country to find somebody that wants to do a podcast about it. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I told my brother Rusty about the game I'm making, and I sent him the demo, and I was like, hey, the ghost in day one, he's named after you because I love you. And I'm just kidding, and not like that, but no, I mean like that as a brother. Listen, doesn't matter. What I mean is sexually. So the point is I was talking to him, and he was like trying to explain what an adventure game was, because he's quite a bit older than me, but he's like he does like play games and like, you know, electronic music and hippity hop and whatnot. So I'm explaining adventure game, and he's like, wait, like Monkey Island? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I hate those. And I was like, okay. So, you know, should I still send it? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, you're not gonna play it. So I guess to your point, sorry, is not even in my family.
No, exactly. It's me and my dad in this family,
Right.
And that's everybody else who's had anything to do with an adventure game has seriously just been humoring me. So,
right, yes, exactly.
Like, this game was interesting enough that non-adventure game players in my household wandered over to look at what was going on the screen. When you hear a line like, whip my cream, you can't help but be like, what the hell is happening over here?
So there's so many good lines. Sturman kept checking in on it too. He really liked the Scarecrow who you know where I'm going with this, because we had a good laugh about it. He says cross-dressing so weird, and it kept throwing me off. And I really hope that any listeners, like, if you ever want to say something, say it now. Please tell me you guys like that stuck with you, because it's so off-puttingly weird and hilarious. He's like, he says it like, you know, cross, and then like maybe the salad one, where it's just like, I can't cross-dressing. I don't know how to do it. It's almost intentional, but it's not, and it's hilarious.
It's just exactly the way he says it. It is good though. He's a good actor.
Somebody else later really, really good. And somebody else later in the game says it correctly. So like the set they knew how to say it.
No, they were doing it. They were messing with the words like that on purpose, I thought.
You said that you're like,
you hadn't shown the
okay
joke,
and I'm so glad that you said that. Because, you know, she's my favorite character in the game. I think she's Miss Fit is so damn funny, and I didn't write down anything else about her. She's just my favorite. Oh, there's a bit in the game too, in her shop where you have to hide in the closet with Flux, and it's just the most wildly inappropriate dark joke I've ever heard. Just slips it right in, where like they shut the curtains, and I didn't write the actual line down because I guess I hate myself, but but he's just like, Flux like totally does this very childlike, you know, getting molested in a closet kind of line, and it's just hilarious.
Well, even the Misfit line was good, because Drew's just like, good book, and she's like, not even, I'm like a total agnostic. Just the good book line. You realize, just like, that was so perfect. And then I said before, I like the line when you ask what happened to Elmer. That made me laugh.
Oh, it's so good.
And then my other one is the Scottish dude. Remember the organ line? That's an interesting organ you have there. And he's like, oh, my kilt's riding up again, isn't it? That's so beautiful.
Oh, that's so good.
Bartender was great, because he's half Irish and half Scottish, so he's like, oh, look at the morning to you, and then don't forget to wear your kilt. Like, I can't do either accent, but the point is, he'd go back and forth between the two, and it was hilarious.
So good. So good. There's that's right. When I first walked out of there, I used the hole for the first time, the fast travel hole, which is not fast travel like at all. I don't know what was going on with the hole, but it was. I had to walk far to use it, so I was like, "What are we doing with this hole?" By the way, also real quick about the whole the fast travel realm that you end up in,
Yeah,
the portable pothole dimension is just so
yeah,
90s. It's just so
it
90s.
is.
Oh my
It
god, it's
really
awesome.
is.
It's just so
It's
90s.
like Larry
Oh,
5 90s, kind of
whew,
like
yeah, it's
just, yeah.
amazing. Yeah, yeah. Larry 5, like Space Quest
I
6 even
took a
kind of vibes.
screenshot. Yeah, because I wanted that screen. I screenshot. I was taking a lot of screenshots in this game. I was just
Fair enough, yeah.
like when he was converting into a cartoon and it was all like, and it was like, wow, that is
Yeah.
the coolest looking
Oh,
scene
so cool.
ever.
Look at the hands and everything too. Yeah. Oh, so when
Mhm.
you're jumping in the hole the first time, he explains what they're about to do in a way that would make you not want to do it. And Flux is
Yeah.
just like, geez, or we could just have like a nice quiet game of Russian roulette. And it's just like these little like side swipes out of nowhere where it's like kind of, I don't know, really, really kind of dark and took me by surprise.
Yeah, even what you did to the mouse. Like the poor mouse, you capture
Yeah.
it, you hit it over the head, and then you put it in a hand on an elevator to scare an elephant for the rest of its days.
Yeah.
Aw, poor thing.
I know, and then yeah. I mean, just I thought it was dead. Like you said way in the beginning, how many people there's a lot of bodies stack up in our wake here, getting through this.
Mhm.
So I thought we killed the mouse, but no. Then we take them and use them to terrify an elephant into carrying us
And
across
to
the river, which is so creative. That was cool.
Yeah, which is another game that had Quest for Glory 5 had like an area you had to travel, but there was no mice and there was no elephants. So I appreciate those little details.
Yeah, exactly. The elephant thing was so cartoony, so good. God,
Mhm.
I screwed myself again because I didn't write what the line was. But the customer, like when she gets the scroll book too, she's so funny. I don't think I realized
That's
that
good.
I had already made a note on her. Sorry, it's like later down the list. Oh, I got another note too. Like a really really good puzzle, in my opinion, was how you get past the evil robot, the one that wants to take over the world. It's weird calling him evil, right? Because he's not very threatening or
Mhm.
anything. He just
No.
kind of talks a lot of shit. but that was really clever. Like you previously get a book on enigmas for trading with the customers. We were just talking about sort of in like, yeah, you ask him a question that he can't answer. That's good. That's what I like. I think in adventure games because it's like it's not obvious, but it makes you feel really good when you figure
Again,
it
the
out.
poor guy, he owned a whole store. He created all these things. He did all this stuff, and then you just like kill him. And then his head comes off, and that's the end of him. And you're like, well, that's okay. As long as I can get the plunger off his desk, we're good. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the weird
So
thing too.
brutal.
I think there was like you can maybe tell the different writers in this game maybe a little too much because like certain lines
Hmm.
are just deadly funny, but they're spread out through all the characters. So it's like I don't
Hmm.
really know, and that kind of works for it, right? Sometimes because it really takes me by surprise because you didn't know who was going to say like the real funny thing. So that's arguably a positive. But on the other side, sometimes did you notice that sometimes Drew was like he gives you the vibe that he's mostly empathetic. Okay, here's the
Hmm.
example. So you're with the clown and you're about to put the chloroform on his nose to knock the clown out.
Hmm.
For those listening who haven't played or need a refresher visually, clown takes his nose off to sneeze or something gross, and you can quickly chloroform the nose before he puts it back on. So the
Hmm.
first thing, this is like the two sides of Drew in the game. The first thing he
Hmm.
says is like, put the poor guy out of his misery or whatever, and like it works because it's like, yeah, the clown is not okay. Like he's they really broke this guy. It's a tough watch actually after a while. It really is.
Hmm.
So
It's true.
he says like the right human thing, and then the next thing he says is really sadistic. And like
Hmm.
I don't remember, but it was just like, oh yeah, he calls him pathetic. He's like, you pathetic something something. Like it doesn't fit at all the other thing he said. And
Hmm.
it's the only time in the game where it happened back to back. But like it was super weird. Like I felt like there was like definitely two writers on him in a sense because like he'd be really sadistic and mean, and then he'd be like more like human and like I don't know. I don't know if you noticed that, but
Well, the whole staying, I mean, he's given a few offers essentially in and out to get out of being where he is, being that it's just a stupid cartoon world. You can leave if you want. And then he's like, oh man, I'm not going to leave. I want to help out. And he repeatedly stood by that. Like, okay, this is stupid. I don't even want to be here. But at the same time, I'm not going to leave you guys in the lurch. I'm in now. So that's
right.
really that kind of sweet, sweet side of him.
Yeah. And I guess in the spirit of that, it kind of the ending in that sense was a little off-putting to me too, in that at no point does he give the vibe that he's coming around on being a cartoon. Like, I get it that he just, we're all feeling it. Like, okay, life, maybe he's remembering that real life is mundane and he doesn't get to do what he wants to, but like none of that's communicated at all. And like, yeah, that's what it is. It's nothing's communicated. Like, we kind of, I guess, assume it if you want to, if you give them that. But then otherwise he's just like becoming a cartoon. He's like, oh, thank God. That thing I didn't want to be, this whole fucking game, I'm becoming it. Phew. And I was like, why are you into this now? Like, you had this shitty job like in the beginning of the game too, but you wanted to go back to it then, and you almost died several times as a cartoon. So that was a little weird. I kind of wish he just never went back. But
yeah, I think, well, you know what happened, part of it is they switched it from him involuntarily being transformed into a cartoon to now you have the magical ability to transform into a cartoon whenever you want, which is a little bit of a stretch, which felt to me like it was kind of added in like, okay, we've got all this extra footage. This game is already long enough. Oh my God, nobody else is going to play it if we put another freaking scene in it. So let's change up the ending. Let's give him the ability to go back, but let's make it so that he can switch it back and forth. Boom. We don't even need to make any more scenes.
Right. See, that all stuck out to you too, though. Just you saying that off the bat, because it was one of those statements I almost regret making when I'm done talking finally. When you were like, yeah, but actually, and I was like, whew, thank God.
No, that is the moment that you really, again, are saying to yourself, like, wow, they thought this was going to be a thing for sure. Yeah. I mean, right here, because they thought that they needed to have more of it.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you put it to me like that, because it makes entirely sense, and it really does justify it. Like, it was so close, it was a sequel away from being justified, but I didn't realize they were just modern movieing it. You know, like every movie now has to have one of those just in case it does freakishly well. You know, it's like a new thing where it's like, but what if this is a universe? Like, no, it's a romantic comedy, but what if it's the Seth Rogen romantic comedy universe, right? Different dimensions. Different jokes, you know, I'm into
the
it.
whole chasing Amy thing, and it's not happening.
Right. Yeah,
it didn't happen.
Yeah, the Kevin Smith universe, man.
I like that universe.
All right, so we got a lot of our funny. Do I have any? No, that's inappropriate. Why did I even write that? Gaseous emission. Oh wait, did I be taking this?
I like the line where they do have the hole, and then they're like, ready for some speedy and convenient and only relatively disturbing hole travel.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good. I like his what's his name? Flex with the whole like trying to get into CDs thing was so funny to me. Like, they stopped, they called the big pink gorilla lady, like, all right, listen, this throwback isn't getting us anywhere, because she keeps saying all this old school cartoon shit. He called her a throwback, and it made me laugh so hard. And then Lloyd, or damn it, what's his game name? Drew pitches to Flex that they should do like the mobster thing, which you know I love that. And yeah, I've got Pringles cans pretty close nearby, just in case. But it's like Flex totally acts like he's not into it. He's like, this is the biggest joke I've ever heard. See? And he just plays ball. And I'm like, I love that so much. It was the hardest I laughed in the whole game. Was that sidestep there. It was so good.
No, it was good, and there's still a fan base, of course, for Toonstruck 2. You can check out toonstruck2.com. There's some missing footage and some other stuff that you didn't get to see from the first one. There's a gallery, and there's a little bit of a rundown on what Toonstruck 2 would have been and how it all went down. So there's an active fan community still out there on Facebook. People do like this game, and a lot of us really, if nothing else, would love to see more of the scenes that weren't included in the rest of it.
Is that an ending? Could we be done?
I could. I mean, actually end the ending. Do the ending right now.
So we just...
And that concludes today's episode of the Classic Gamers Guild podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into Toonstruck. If you want to stay connected with us and stay updated on our future episodes, you can follow us on Twitter at CGG Podcast and at Phantom Fellows. You can like us Facebook at Classic Gamers Guild. Join us on Instagram at CGG Podcast. Send us an email at mail@classicgamersguild.com. And don't forget to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/classicgamersguild to support the show. I know we've gotten some new Patreons lately, and I just want to say thank you for joining in. We really appreciate it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week for another exciting adventure in gaming.
That was so good. Listen, I'm not done yet, though.
I was ready to jump right in. I'm good.
I'll just say, because at some point I messaged Anna and I said I just had this "where's this game been my whole life" moment, and it was right after I laughed really hard with the C joke, and I stand by that because it's fun to bitch about things, and more so it's not that fun to listen to people praise things for an hour. So just I don't want to mix up any of my critique for the fact that there's a part of me that's just like, dude, where's this game been my whole life? It's so funny. Mm-hmm. So like for real, go buy it because it's one of the best games I've played in a long time. And man, FMV's on a roll. I played Gabriel Knight 2, Phantaz 2, and this all in a row, and they were all awesome. So check all that bloody stuff out. And Anna, the ending you done wasn't in vain. Let's save that and use it forever. That's the best ending ever. We'll just keep using it. Hopefully we always have new Patreons though. Fuck, there's a hole in that. All right, don't wait, is there anything else? Don't go. Okay, don't do merch. Is it still doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is? Yeah.